There's the Creed coming back. It's a good thing Joe Rexroad, I think, is on the road, so I don't think he's listening. He would not be happy about hearing higher here. Jake Lyman, Max Hurst, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025. The game. Max with us for the full first hour of the show, talking Preds. And Max, of course, the big news of the week. Monday, Barry Trotz announces that he plans on stepping down as the Predators GM. He is going to help in the search for his replacement and will stay on, at the very least, in an advisory role through the end of the 26-27 season. What was your initial reaction when you heard this and when you heard from Trotz along with Bill Haslam and Sean Henry on Monday afternoon?
Yeah, this caught everybody by surprise to start this week, and I don't think anybody knew this was happening. The coaches didn't know, the players didn't know. It blindsided everyone. Nobody in the hockey world knew for such a widely respected and well-connected hockey person who knows everybody at every arena with every team. A lot of people were shocked, and that's why people speculated that something might be wrong, which Barry Trotz was very quick to shut down and say, nothing's wrong. I'm all good. I just know this is it. And he said he came to Preds owner Bill Haslam in December and said, I'm done after this contract, which is at the end of next season. And they had talked about it, got some more thoughts on it, and basically came to the conclusion that let's start looking now. And everybody agreed on that. And to answer your question, my reaction to everything that happened, the announcement, the day, the press conference, was that this is what's good for everybody. And first and foremost, it's what Barry Trotz wants. And look, he's done enough. He coached for so long. He tried his hand at being an executive. He did a lot of things that I think they did a good job highlighting in the press conference. Take player acquisition completely out of it. He did a lot of things for the organization that gave them a big step forward in both facilities and technology and things like that. And I think that was the type of thing that the second GM needed to take on. And I think he succeeded in that with the help of Preds ownership and management. So I think it's a good time to hand it off again. And the fact that they can start looking now with no rush, Barry Trotz continues to be the GM. Plan A is to have a GM hired by this offseason, by the draft in June. And I think if they can do that, this could be the perfect handoff, regardless of what type of hire they make.
Yeah, and Bill Haslam said that on Monday. He said they get their line in the water first because everybody goes out to the fishing hole looking for GMs, looking for coaches at the end of the season. They get to start the process now. And it was kind of strange on Monday morning where the Elliot Friedman report had come out. There was a lot of speculation of why this is happening. But I do think this is the right move for the Predators. And it's a very, I don't know if selfless is the right word, move from Barry Trotz, but he's, as Bill Haslam said, always going to put the Predators first and do what's best for the organization. And I think this is exactly what that is, allowing them to find his replacement and not have that timeline, that rush of we have to find him now. Instead, Barry Trotz gives them that leeway and the runway to go find somebody else.
Yeah, I think you could call it selfless. I think that's fair. Look, I mean, everybody wants to keep their job. Everybody wants to win. Like to do anything other than keep trudging on.
Yeah.
I to give something up that means a lot to you, I think is selfless. So I think it's great timing for the team too. It's whether they go outside or whether they go off the board, and I have no idea what type of hire they're going to make. That's something I'm going to start looking into during the Olympic break. I mean, it's been 3 games in 4 days since then.
Right.
Clearly, the Preds are making no hires during this week, but I'm looking forward to taking some time and looking at who the people are who are qualified. And there's some people who've been named, like the guys like Frank Saravalli, who just make crap up on the internet and say that the Preds have the most toxic locker room in NHL history, come out with lists. And it's like, oh my God, like they're going to hire, I don't even know who, assistant GMs or agents.
I
or
saw an
it
agent
is.
was listed on there. That draws some buzz.
That's possible, but like, these aren't sourced lists.
Right. It's just coming up with names that you think might make sense.
Yeah, or people you know. So look, I don't know anybody outside of Nashville either. So I need to take time to figure out who externally could be a candidate. There were a few things that the Preds said that made me think that they want to go external this time. And they do have qualified assistant GMs in the organization. So they made it clear that that's something they're going to consider as well. So maybe when we get back from the Olympic break, I can talk about who were some of the people who stood out to
Right.
me. But yeah, I mean, it's names, like a lot of it is former players. Like one of the assistant GMs who got named is Jamie Langenbrunner, who people know. He was on the Devils for 15 years. But I got to look into what these guys are doing right now. Like if it weren't for being around them every day, I don't think I'd have a good understanding of what the Preds assistant GMs do on a day-to-day basis and what their specific roles are. So I need to take time to figure out who's doing what in other places, and who could be a fit. But I think they plan to cast a pretty wide net, which is, I mean, they didn't interview last time. They knew who they were going to. So this is a chance to do it very differently and something that the Preds have never done before.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, only 2 GMs in franchise history, and one was kind of chosen as the handpicked successor. So a chance to go through the process here. Max, this decision from Barry Trotz has sparked a lot of conversation about the overall direction of the organization. And it does seem like Barry Trotz, he said it in his press conference, wanted to thread the needle of they had the veteran leadership. They've stayed competitive at the very least while he's been the GM, but they also have built up a pretty solid prospect base as well. How do you view the overall direction of this franchise as the next GM comes in, on where you think they want to go in it, veterans versus focusing on the young talent coming through the pipeline?
I think the next couple years are going to be really interesting for the next GM, because you have those decent level picks coming through. Brady Martin could be in the NHL next year. Igor Surin will not be in the NHL next year. Tanner Moldendijk could be in the NHL next year. But you don't want a team of entirely rookies.
Yes.
So they are going to have to thread that needle, like you said, for probably the next 2 seasons. And depending what this deadline looks like, you might not have a lot of veterans left on your team at forward if the guys who everybody else wants, who are on expiring contract, do get traded away. But if some of those guys get traded, especially guys like Smith and McCarron, who are role players who love it here and have been here a long time, those guys could come right back in the offseason.
Very good
So
point.
I think those are the type of things you look at. I don't think they're going to have another round of big offseason signings of veterans. And I mean, the big swing point is, do you still have Ryan O'Reilly next year? And if not, who's your top line center? Can you bank on Brady Martin doing that? Which would be a risky thing to bank on.
Yeah.
It would be amazing if it happened and it worked out, but that would put a lot of onus on somebody like Philip Forsberg to say, hey, you're going to be with Brady Martin all year, who's played 3 NHL games. Opening night's going to be his 4th NHL game, and he's going to be your center for the entire season. And you're going to go from Ryan O'Reilly, who's played 1,200 NHL games and done everything and does everything, to a 19-year-old rookie. So I think the biggest thing the GM will have to think about is, how do we get from the 2026 offseason to where we think we can be in 2030 if everybody hits? And there are a lot of different ways to get there. And there are ways to get there where your team really strips it down. There are other ways to get there, like the last couple of years, where you just bring in an almost completely different group of guys who are 10 years older than your prospects and just ride with them. And it's worked out pretty well this year. Like, it really has. The Preds are 4 points out of a playoff spot. They probably should be a little closer with some of the points they've left on the board recently and the bad starts and all of that. So I think the approach that Barry Trotz took the last couple of years has actually been really, really good, if the goal is to win games, which it is. So I'm curious how I would love to be in these interviews to hear the different pitches of different ways that this could go.
Right, because I think GMs can come in there and there's not one set path that they could want to take this organization, right? There's so many different ways you can go about it with the way this organization is formatted right now. So going to be interesting. And you mentioned the trade deadline is going to be a pretty big turning point as well. And Barry Trotz will still run that for the Predators, as he is the GM until they find his successor. We'll talk about that coming up next. But first, let's go to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Our good friend Trey has called in. Trey, good morning. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing? How you doing, Max?
Hi, Trey.
Hey, I wanted to say, God put something on my heart to speak on, and I want to speak on it. I want to talk about Mr. Jake Burton Carpenter. When I was a sky cap up in Burlington, Vermont, I was a sky cap up there at the airport. He used to come in all the time, and he's responsible for snowboarding, Burton Snowboards. And, he used to come in all the time, and, he's a nice man, and, he started the competition snowboarding, and then ESPN picked it up and turned it into X Games. And, 25 years later, the sport is now in the Olympics. And he died from cancer, man. And I know 25 years later, he would be proud of his sport getting into the Olympics, man. And God put that on my heart to speak on him because people don't hear from him. They don't talk about him. He is the godfather of snowboarding. He started it, and I just want to give him a shout out. And I want to ask Max a question. Max, if I wanted to learn hockey, how long would it take me to learn hockey? Because I want to start rooting for the Preds. And y'all have a good day, and God bless y'all. Thank you.
Thank you for the call, Trey.
I think Trey already knows. He calls in and asks us questions about it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. First of all, don't sell yourself short, Trey. You know more than you think. But yeah, come on by. Come to some games. Watch some games on TV. It's once you
Trey
get
doesn't
it,
do that. Trey listens to games.
Well, even better. Listen to us. Yeah, just listen to me and Hal and Pete and Jay, and you'll learn everything you need to know.
That was the big thing with Trey this season during Titans games was he was calling in bashing Cam Ward for like a month and a half and then said he had not watched a single game yet. He only listened.
Well, it's funny because my dad does the same thing because he
he
likes
listens to
watching
you.
hockey, but he wants to listen to me because he's a great dad. So sometimes he'll text me during the game. He texted me during one of the games last week. He said, Wilsby's taking too many penalties. Like, I could be lying about who's taking the penalties.
Right. That's the great part about radio is who knows whether we're telling the truth or not.
Trey is in good shape. Trey is doing everything right. But yeah, Trey, we'd love to have you come watch a game sometime.
For sure. And Trey, thanks for sharing the story as well.
Wait, so
about
Trey used to work at an airport? Is that what he said?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's what he said.
Did you know that I'm missing plot points?
See, I don't know if I knew he used to work at an airport. I know he used to like drive transit, like cross country. I don't know. The lore of Trey is all kind of tangled at this point. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Much more to come with Max Herz, who's with us until 10 o'clock. We'll talk trade deadline and talk Olympics in the next couple of segments. Jake Lyman, Max Herz, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. There you go, Parker. Three Doors Down. Great band. Joe Rexroad doesn't know what he's talking about. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Jake Lyman, Max Herz, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 the game.
What did Joe Rexroad say regarding Three Doors
I guess
Down?
he said he's not a fan of Three Doors Down. I believe the words close all three doors came out of his mouth this morning.
Wow.
I don't know. He's not a Three Doors Down fan.
Did he say anything about Daughtry or
He does not like Creed. We know that.
doesn't like Creed?
I have not heard a definitive answer on Daughtry or not, but I love those bands. Joe Rexroad is wrong, and we've got some answers on the text line about that too, who are not fans of Joe's thoughts on Three Doors Down. Anyway, we're talking Preds with Max Herz here. The Olympic break is officially here, and the trade deadline is now looming. I know it's a month away. A month from today, actually, is the trade deadline. But you only have 5 games after the Olympic break before the trade deadline. Right. So it's going to come fast and furious once the Preds get back on the ice. They're going to have to make some tough decisions. Obviously, there are some expiring contracts that, you might be looking to get rid of one way or another. But of course, Ryan O'Reilly is the big name. Michael Bunting on expiring contract would be a big name to trade. Barry Trotz has some important choices to make as the Preds head towards the trade deadline in 1 month.
I still maintain that, and I've said this with you before, Jake, I think every single player for the Preds would get more in return than people would expect.
Yeah.
So I think it's on Barry Trotz and the Preds to field as many offers as possible, negotiate as hard as possible, and get teams bidding against each other. I think Bunting is incredibly valuable.
I agree.
I think Holla is very valuable. I think O'Reilly is perhaps the most valuable player in the league in a lot of ways, outside of Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon types. And I think teams love McCarron and Smith. I think a team would be smart to acquire McCarron and Smith together if those guys are available. And I think it seems like teams could be interested in the right-handed defenseman too, Blankenberg and even Nick Perbix. So it depends what you're looking for. I mean, they got a 3rd-round pick for Spencer Stastny. How many 3rd-round picks do you need now that you have 4 of those in 2 years? I would be interested in prospect returns. The Panarin trade is a different thing than anything the Preds will be a part of, but the Rangers just traded Artemi Panarin to the Kings this week.
Yep.
And it was a weird trade because Panarin was being held out and he only wanted to go to the Kings. So it's crazy that they even got anything. And he signed an extension with them, which is the only reason that they got anything. But the prospect they got was the 24th overall pick 2 years ago, Liam Greentree. He's a 100-point guy in the OHL. I think that's an okay return for a player who you were at a dead end with.
Yeah.
People do not seem to like that return. I've never seen Liam Greentree play in person, but if I'm the Preds, I'm interested in prospects like that. Guys who are going to be pros next year for the first time, or even guys who have been in the NHL a little bit. So I think they can get creative if they do decide to sell. And I think the fact that they've played well, the value's high, and they have players who are playing well, and it's guys that other teams want. The interesting thing over the last few weeks, though, is how much the market has changed. It felt like a lot more teams were in it 2 weeks ago, and teams have fallen out. So there could be more sellers.
Right. That is a good point. We had been talking about it as a strong sellers market, but as more teams maybe start to realize they're not going to be in the playoffs this year or not going to be true contenders, they could end up starting to sell off. So the Preds, a lot of names that could be thrown out there as possible trade candidates over the next month, which brings up the question, and we've talked about this before, Max, of who ends up coming up and playing big roles down the stretch if you do end up selling. We saw Reed Schaefer was called up earlier this week, so he's back with the Predators. But I would guess there is a pretty big group of young players waiting in the wings down in Milwaukee to come up if the Preds do make some big moves.
Yeah, I think the one that you really hope to see a lot of is Kimmel, and we've never seen him in more than a game or two at a time. And I would really like to see Kimmel get an extended run. The problem is the guys who his duplicates are the guys with the no trade clauses. So how many right-handed one-timer wingers can you have at once? I mean, could you have Kimmel, Forsberg, Stamkos, and Marchessault all in the same lineup? And you may have to. I think Zach LaRue will get his look. He came up earlier in the year, but was injured and didn't end up playing. And he's been a point per game in Milwaukee. So he's been productive down there. He's not going to be a big point producer in the NHL this year, most likely. Maybe in the future, he can work his way up to that. I think the guys who just recently got sent down, Fedor Svechkov, Matt Wood would be back. And maybe the wild card, like if you do end up needing a center, do you give Oasis Weisblatt or David Edstrom a shot? Those might be reaches this season for guys who are Weisblatt is a first-year pro. Edstrom is a first-year North American pro. That might be a little too early to bring those guys up. If you need a center, you may get one in return in a trade who you can ride out for the rest of the year, someone who you can build with who's young. Or you can go with the veteran option, Jake Lucchini, who is in Milwaukee and played a few games for the Preds last year. So, I mean, this is only if they really trade a lot of people away, which I think could happen. But, I mean, you got guys in return. The group could look very different depending on how much people are willing to pay and how much interest there is. So, I think it's fair to ask that question. Did I miss anybody? I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did.
We had
none of the forwards, at least.
We had a question the other day. Is it true that Brady Martin could come back after his junior season is over, or is he not able to come back to the NHL this year?
No, he is, because he's under contract. He's not able to go to the AHL.
Right. So after his junior season's over, maybe you see him come back.
Yeah, unless there's something that I don't know about, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but no, I think he should be able to. I don't think that's part of a plan right now, though. I wouldn't expect it to be.
Right.
And I mean, also there's a chance if the Preds don't make the playoffs, he could be playing longer than the Preds are.
So it's a very good point.
It's not like college where they get done and you can head straight.
Right. You've got a month or so.
Yeah. Like if you're in college, you don't make the NCAA tournament, you're done in mid-March in college hockey or sooner. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that, but I mean, potentially if they think it's good for him.
Right.
But like it's going to be the end of a big minute season for him in the O. So I don't know if they'd force that one.
Let's go back to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Adam in Portland is called in. Adam, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Yeah. What are you guys talking about? Why do we necessarily have to be sellers? Like, this sucks. Like, we were 4 points out. It's not like we're 20 points out. I mean, and I don't know what's going on with Barry. I don't know if he's sick or something. That would make sense. But just to quit on the team, be like, yeah, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. When we're 4 points out, like I don't want to go another playoffs without watching the Preds in the playoffs. I say if you could find somebody that would take Marchessault, all right, cool, because he hasn't really done it all season. But the team's finding ways. They're gritty. Like, they're still being competitive. I don't understand why you got to piece out your team right now. It's weird. Like, y'all don't see that? It's a completely different team than last year. I don't get it.
Thanks for the call, Adam. I mean, I think you have to be realistic about it, right? Like, yes, you're only 4 points out of a playoff spot right now, but there's a pretty good group of teams in front of you, too. And also, are you willing to give up on future assets that could help you to get in and maybe play the Avalanche in the first round, which the way they're playing, I don't know in a 7-game series how competitive that's going to be.
Yeah, I think the wise measured decision would be to sell here. And look, if the offers aren't good enough and you're not setting yourself up in a way that's worth putting this season on the back burner, don't do it. I agree with you, Adam. I think the team is pretty good right now. And but just looking at where they're at, I would expect at least a handful of sell moves. And just to address everything he said, I don't know if he saying he thinks that Barry Trotz is not well, even though Barry Trotz said this is not for health reasons.
And also the timing has nothing to do with the on ice product. They said that it's all just about he was planning on retiring at the end of next season.
I think it makes it even easier for him to retire that the team's playing well.
Right.
You know,
He probably feels better about it.
I think he would be more, what do you say, ditching the team? I think he'd be ditching the team more if the team was awful right now.
Right.
You know? And the other thing about Marchessault, I think if a team wants Marchessault and there is an offer that doesn't put the Preds in a bad spot, I think they could go to him, but he does have a full no movement clause. So
Right.
it would have to be a place that he would rather be than here.
Yes, and the rumors are he only wants to play in no state income tax states. I guess that's been put out there. I've seen that somewhere that Jonathan Marchessault apparently only wants to play in states with no state income tax because that's the only places he's played in state of Florida, Nevada, and now Tennessee. So maybe that ends up playing a role down the street.
I don't know. I mean, that's just. I mean, if you look at what teams he's been on, I guess you could make that conclusion. But yeah, I mean that's an interesting one. I don't know if there have been any thoughts of moving him or any teams that are interested, but most importantly, the player has to be interested in a situation like that. So, but look, I think everything's on the table. So, and I think keeping everybody's on the table too. So they got time to work through this, and we'll see what type of offers they get and what other types of trades start happening. Because I think we're going to have tons of trades in that week coming out of the Olympics.
Right. A month to go until the trade deadline, but with the 3-week Olympic break, it's going to come up quick. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Any final questions for Max, you can get them in now. We will come back. We'll talk some Olympics. We'll give you your guide. If you want to watch the Predators players in the Olympics coming up over the next few weeks, we'll let you know when and where you can find them. We'll do that after this. Jake Lyman, Max Herz, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Max Herz, Parker Kelly with you. Wrapping up hour number 1. We got Max Herz for a few more minutes here, and wanted to take this opportunity to get you all set for the Winter Olympics, as the Preds will have 4 players over there competing in the Olympics in Italy. And I do want to correct myself. Earlier on, I talked about Finland versus Sweden, which is a big Preds matchup, and I said Roman Josi, of course, Jussi Saros and Erik Haula on the Finnish team, Roman Josi on the Swiss team. But plenty of opportunities to watch your Preds, and it all starts on Wednesday. Back-to-back games with Preds in it. You got Slovakia versus Finland, Sweden versus Italy. So the Preds get started relatively quickly out there in Milan.
Yeah, those are the first 2 games of the whole men's tournament next Wednesday. So yeah, all 3 of the 4 Preds will be in there.
Well, and the next game after that is Switzerland versus France. So there you go. The first 3 games of the Olympics, you'll get to see all of the Preds players.
Yeah, and the majority of these games will be on TV. Every game is on Peacock if it's not on TV. Most of them are on the USA Network. A few of the Switzerland games are streaming only.
Gotcha.
From what I can tell. And the NHL app does have the men's hockey scores in there, same way you check the Preds scores. So good on the NHL for doing that. The NHL, I think, has been a good partner to the Olympics, despite the fact that they've made it clear that they are not crazy about players going. They understand that it's good for the game. So I think it's good for everybody. The players are overjoyed to be back. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I really do. Canada and USA are the favorites. But I think a lot of the European countries could really make some noise over there. And I think Switzerland is a real contender here. They're going to need good goaltending from most likely Akira Schmid from the Golden Knights. But Hal and I talk about this all the time. Switzerland has 10 players in the NHL this year. So they have 10 NHLers on their team. The other half is guys who play professionally in Europe in either the Swiss league or the Swedish league or maybe a few other places.
Yeah.
Everybody from Switzerland in the NHL is good. There's no marginal Swiss NHLers. And I think that group of guys who are really close, the older group, Josi, Niederreiter, and then the younger group and guys like Fiala who are in the middle of that, I think they can compete. They need goaltending, obviously. And that could be a big question mark. And look, that's an area where Jussi Saros, if he can be a star for Finland can go really far. But Finland and Sweden have injury issues. No Barkov for Finland. Sweden is missing Brodin and Leo Carlson and some of the guys who are really expected to play big minutes for them. So a big tournament from anybody could carry a team like that. And Forsberg, Saros, and Josi are 3 guys who are at the top of that list for countries that may need to be carried.
Right. I think it is cool for Preds fans that you don't just have like the 3rd line winger on the Canadian team or something. You've got the stars for 3 countries here with Josi in Switzerland, Jussi Saros for Finland, and then Philip Forsberg for Sweden. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Finland and Sweden are in the same group. And we mentioned they play a week from today at 5:10 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
So it'll be an early wake-up call if you want to catch Philip Forsberg versus Jussi Saros and Erik Haula.
And that is the biggest game of the preliminary round in men's hockey.
Yeah.
The groups are a little split. The USA group is very manageable. They are with Germany, Latvia, and Denmark.
Yeah.
And there are some solid NHLers on those teams. Like Leon Draisaitl's on Germany. Nick Ehlers is on Denmark. Latvia has a couple NHLers, but that's pretty easy draw for USA. And everybody makes the elimination round. The top 4 teams, so the winner of each group and a wild card from one of the 3 groups gets a bye into the quarterfinals. But everybody will play elimination games.
Gotcha.
Canada, Switzerland will be the biggest game in that group. Switzerland and Czechia will be competing for second in that group behind Canada. And then Finland and Sweden, Group B, is big time. They've also got Slovakia in there. So I think Team USA got a really easy draw.
Yeah.
And if they don't go undefeated in group stage, I think that's a big disappointment.
I would agree with that. And the U.S. team starts their Olympic run on Thursday of next week against Latvia. That is a 2:10 p.m. Central Time puck drop. And then the group stage runs all the way through Sunday, February 15th. And then the knockout stages start on Tuesday, the 17th. So excited. I think Olympic hockey, I said it with Corey Curtis on Wednesday, that the Four Nations face-off last year has just perfectly led its way into Olympic hockey. I think it piqued everybody's interest last year with how great those games were, and now everybody is locked in, ready to go for Olympic hockey this year.
Yeah, and the NHL did that by design. So I think there's a lot of hype for this year. I think it can live up to the hype, and then there's just going to be so many games, too. Like, the Four Nations was, what, 7 games?
Yes.
In total?
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, this is way more hockey and a deeper pool and more players. So, no, I think it's going to be tons of fun. I think the players deserve it. I'm so happy that this is happening. So, yeah, I'd encourage everybody to watch and go everybody. I don't know. Go
Yes.
USA, go our Preds guys. I made a bold prediction last night that Switzerland is going to win the bronze. So,
there you go.
we'll see if Yossi and the boys can get it done. But yeah, I predicted USA over Canada in the gold medal game and Switzerland for the bronze. There is a chance, though, that USA and Canada do not play.
Right, which
at
would be
all.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
But
I think they will.
I think it probably will work itself out that they will play. But yes, obviously, no guarantees that they end up playing. That would be very disappointing. But excited for that. Again, men's Olympic hockey starting up next week, but the Olympics officially getting underway today. The opening ceremony coming up at 1:00 Central Time. Max, always appreciate you coming on. Hope you enjoy some time off here over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Jake, I might see you in a couple of weeks here.
Yes. Yeah. You're always welcome on the show, but I'm sure you've got some stuff to catch up on now that you've got a little chance to catch your breath here. So appreciate you coming on and enjoy some time off. And we'll talk to you hopefully soon. And the Preds back on the ice on February the 26th against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Love it. Max Herz from Preds Radio joining us as he always does on Friday mornings. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Connor Newt going to join us. We're talking Super Bowl on the other side. Jake Lyman, Max Herz, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5, the game, second hour on this Friday. Jake Lyman, joined by Connor Newt in studio. Parker Kelly at the controls, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Big thanks to Max Herz from Preds Radio for joining us for the first hour, as he does on Fridays. Great stuff. Always from Max, and the Preds heading into the Olympic break over the next 3 weeks. Back in action here at Bridgestone Arena on February the 26th against the Chicago Blackhawks. But Connor's with us now. Going to talk some football for the rest of the show. What's going on, Connor?
What's going on? It's a good day. I am patriotism today.
There you
I
go.
don't know if you noticed. Red,
Where's
white,
your
and
red?
blue. It's my shoes.
Oh, okay. Got the red. Yeah, you are full on Patriot.
It's the opening ceremony today. I'm excited. Olympic hockey's coming. Not till next
Olympic
week, but
hockey. I'm not as big into the Winter Olympics, like the niche sports. I did mention with Max earlier. Apparently, we got a big curling win yesterday.
Oh, wow. Over whom?
I believe we beat Canada. If
Oh,
I'm not
y'all
mistaken,
didn't watch?
I did not watch the
I didn't
curling.
either.
It's the
I was
miracle.
a little bit busy yesterday.
Miracle all over again.
That's
Look
what
at
I
that.
said. A Miracle on Ice 2.0. I believe I saw like Canada hadn't lost in curling in like 5 or 6 years
Oh,
or something
wow.
like that. So
David versus Goliath.
yeah, so big win for the
Good
U.S.
for us.
I do enjoy some of the niche sports, but like during the Summer Olympics, I will lock in on like swimming and diving
Fencing.
and fencing, just like whatever random is on.
Gymnastics.
I struggle a little bit to get as locked in on like speed skating and the luge and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
well, the Winter Olympics are the kind of stuff that you can throw on and,
just have it on the background.
take a nap,
Yeah.
wake up, and hey, snowboarding's on.
But I am excited. The opening ceremony's coming up at 1:00 today. So maybe I'll have that on the background a little bit while I'm doing some prep today.
I don't really care about the ceremonies and stuff.
Yeah, especially as Max was saying, a lot of the NHL guys couldn't get
Yeah.
over there. I know he said Leon Draisaitl is the flag bearer for Germany.
Yeah,
So-
but they didn't play last night.
Right.
So
But the Preds players won't be over there, which is disappointing. But the Olympics starting today officially. They started yesterday, but officially starting today. The Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. We're going to spend most of the rest of the show on the Super Bowl.
Mike Verbal.
Let's start with NFL honors last night. Despite the mispronunciations that were out there, Verbal was not the worst one of the night.
oh,
Um,
thank you, Drewski.
he did that on purpose.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I hate it because like that's JSN, like that's one of the biggest moments of his life. He just won Offensive Player of the Year. Like
Yeah, but what drove it? I mean, he was doing that on purpose.
you could see Barry Sanders was not having it.
yeah, but he also said, well, he just decided not to pull up. He's in
Right. He
the
is
biggest
playing
game
in
of
the
his life,
Super
right?
Bowl. Mike Verbal was great too. Coach Verbal is getting ready for the Super Bowl on Sunday.
How do you? I mean, I don't think either of them will be invited back. Drewski definitely not.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Who's the other one? Tiffany
Haddish. And she was the host, right?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I didn't
don't
watch
know.
a second
I
of
didn't
it.
get to watch much of it, but I saw the clips. Obviously, yeah, it was rough. But-
We should have had Kirk Cousins singing again.
Oh yeah, the Kirko Chains.
Yeah, where he was singing Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. I don't enjoy watching those award shows. Anything like
It's all
like
cringe.
the sports ones, the Grammys on Sunday. I
Now-
was kind of forced to watch some of it, and I'm like, what is the appeal of all of this?
Well, I know the appeal, but I'm not gonna say it on the air. But anyways, the ESPYs were fun with Shane as the host.
Yeah,
I really only watched his opening monologue just because I knew he would go unhinged, and he certainly did. So-
right.
But they're all fake. Like,
Right. It's all. I mean, it's
not that the NFL honors is fake. Like,
right. I mean, at least there's a like tangible stuff you can look at.
I
for
mean,
that.
like JSN deserved Offensive Player of the Year. Miles Garrett deserved Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
We'll talk about the MVP race, which was wildly close.
Right. And we can get into that now. Matthew Stafford, the oldest player in NFL history to win their first MVP at 37 years old. Big announcement, too, as he accepted the award that he will come back next year. Feel like it's tough to win the MVP and then retire,
Yeah,
right?
you can't do that.
But exciting stuff for the Rams. I do wonder, and this is a completely different topic, I wonder if the Rams start looking at drafting his successor.
It would make
Um,
sense.
Right.
But this isn't the draft to do that.
Yes, and even though they do have that top 10 pick from the Falcons, it's like
they have like Caleb Downs written all over them. They'll take this player that
Yeah.
everyone thinks is a great player
Right.
and then just drops because of positional value.
Right. No, it makes sense. I that would not shock me at all. But Matthew Stafford wins it. One more first place vote and 5 total points ahead of Drake May, the closest MVP race since the co-MVP year in 2003 with Steve McNair and Peyton Manning.
Did you see who else got votes?
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence.
Well, did you see the one that is getting it was a PFF guy voted for Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And
PFF.
Well, Drake May and Matthew Stafford received the majority, but then it was 2 for Josh Allen, then 1 for Herbert. And Trevor
Right.
Lawrence and CMC didn't get any.
okay, so Trevor Lawrence just got a lot of like second or third place votes, I'm sure. But
Who's voting for him in the first place?
But like, so the Josh Allen votes, I can get it. I guess it's understandable given that team was not what it's been in the past, and he still kind of willed them to where they ended up.
yeah, but it was between those
It
two.
was always Stafford and May, and that I get it. You can be different, but I think the guy's name was Sam Monson who put it out there last night that he was the Herbert vote, and he basically said that the offensive line falling apart is the reason that he voted for Herbert. That when Stafford lost some of his offensive line, he turned into a turnover machine, so he shouldn't vote for him. But when Herbert's offensive line fell apart, he was able to make plays. I don't know. I remember a couple of games where that, including the playoffs, and I know the playoffs isn't part of it, but a couple of games in the regular season too, where the Chargers offense just completely was abysmal. So I don't get it.
I mean, if I was a voter, I wouldn't reveal my vote. I would just kind of keep it to myself. Kind of like the Heisman voting, which I think is a bit more open once it comes out. Like, do you remember Reese Davis basically saying, I voted for Pavia and
right,
I regret
he regrets it.
But
Yeah.
I think that's a bit more open, but in terms of the NFL, like if you're voting for MVP, unless you're voting for one of the two favorites, I would keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, and I said Stafford yesterday with TD, but that one was outside of Coach of the Year. I think it was the toughest one for me to pick because both
There's arguments either way.
Stafford and May both had MVP type seasons. They didn't have the generational type seasons that we've seen, like the Mahomes years, the Jackson years, where it's like, all right, yeah, that's clearly the MVP. But both of them were MVP caliber, really, really close.
Yeah.
And Drake made deservingly right there for second place. But Matthew Stafford, I'm happy to see Matthew Stafford win it. Like, that's a dude who has been talented in his entire career. He's always put up stats, but has maybe never gotten the recognition he deserves. So getting that MVP late in his career, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's a likable guy. I mean, you look at his story, like you said, always put up numbers, but he was with the Lions.
Right. It was kind of discounted. It was like, oh, he had a 5,000 yard season at one point, didn't he?
Yeah, because he had
Megatron, and it was like, oh, well, it's with the Lions. They're not very good. Like, he's a good player on a bad team.
But now he's quietly put together a Hall of Fame resume.
Right. It is funny. Like, he went from being what Jared Goff is now, right? The Lions have that quarterback where it's like, he's good, but he's not one of the elite guys in the league. He's not an MVP level guy. And now he has turned into, I think, a surefire Hall of Fame resume, right? You've won an MVP, you won a Super Bowl,
right?
And you've done it for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Like,
he hasn't really regressed. Like, he's kind of just been the steady hand with whatever team he's played for.
Yeah.
So he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I love it for Matthew Stafford. That one was the closest race that we got last night. You know what surprised me? And maybe I read this wrong. Did Emeka Egbuka not get any first place votes for offensive rookie of the year?
Really?
I believe I saw that somewhere.
I mean, I understand his season kind of declined, but so did the rest of Tampa.
Let me see. I know Ari Myrov on Twitter was putting out all the first place votes because I feel like I saw that Tet was kind of the runaway, and I thought Tet was going to win it, but I thought Egbuka would be second, and he was not. I believe Tyler Shuck might have finished second.
Tet had a big day yesterday.
Yes. Yes, he did. Very interesting. Here it is. Yes. Offensive Rookie of the Year voting. 41 first place votes for Tet McMillan, 5 for Tyler Shuck, 2 for Gray Zabel, the offensive lineman for the Seahawks, 1 for Travion Henderson, 1 for Jackson Dart, none for Emeka Egbuka.
Can I put some Titans propaganda into this?
What, Cam Ward should have gotten one?
Where's Cam Ward?
Yeah, I think Cam Ward maybe deserves some down ballot voting, but he was obviously not
No,
the
he was.
rookie of the
I'm
year.
not. I'm not. Saying he should have won it hands on, but I would like to see him get some love.
The Tyler Shuck stuff was confusing to me. That people were adamantly saying he deserved to be rookie of the year.
Play like 6
he
games.
was good. He was good, but you can't give the guy rookie of the year for half a season worth of games. He was good. He wasn't transcendent. It's not like he came in and just completely tore up the league. He was good.
I compare him to Will Levis that first season.
Maybe better than that.
A little bit
but
better.
Like he has solidified himself as a possible franchise quarterback for the Saints, right? Like,
so did Will Levis.
I think heading into the year, they kind of felt like, all right, we got Rattler, we got Shuck. Let's see what happens. And now heading into the offseason, you're like, yeah, Shuck, that's our starting quarterback. Maybe he's our franchise quarterback.
Like Will Levis.
Sure.
It was.
I think that's, that's fair. But it wasn't rookie of the year type stuff.
Right.
I guess maybe the Tep McMillan voters all looked at it and said McMillan's year was clearly better than Igbuka. So it's like, if we're going to pick a wide receiver, we're just going to pick him.
Which is fair.
I was a little surprised that he got no first place votes, though.
Yeah, that is disappointing. But
halfway through the year, I was ready for today to take my victory lap because I picked Emeka Egbuka to win Offensive Rookie of the Year on like August 10th.
I don't even remember who I picked. I think I picked... Did I pick Cam Ward?
You might have picked Cam Ward. Somebody picked Cam Ward. It was either you or Frazier. I picked Ward to finish second, so I was a little off there. But I said Egbuka was the Rookie of the Year. I thought I had it after his hot start to the season. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. David from Murfreesboro says, Tyler Shuck is our franchise quarterback. You have no idea. Like, you cannot make that judgment based off 9
We
games.
said the same thing about Will Levis.
You can feel confident about it, but there is no way to know that he is the franchise quarterback until he at least plays another full season.
I remember after that Monday Night Football game in Miami, we all thought, hey, Will Levis might be the franchise guy. It was all downhill from there.
Let's let defensive coordinators get tape on him and see if they can make some adjustments. It happens all the time that rookie quarterbacks have good years and then fall back down to earth.
Look at CJ Stroud. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Register today for Stars Trivia Night at Boomba's in East Nashville on Thursday, February 19th. It will be a night full of fun, food, and prizes, all while supporting Stars Nashville, a nonprofit providing free mental health support for students in over 200 schools across Middle Tennessee. For more details and how to register, visit thegamenashville.com/events. We're going to continue talking about NFL honors. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year. We'll get into it next. Mike Vrabel, excuse me. And then we will talk Super Bowl later on in the hour. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Parker Kelly with you. Connor Newton is he's missing out on his girl. He begs for Sabrina Carpenter every show, and he misses the one time Parker plays it. It's tough.
I think that is very selfish on his part,
Yeah.
where he decides to leave right before we come back from commercial break. And I told Connor, I'm like, hey, there was a song yesterday that was played during the NFL Honors that I'm getting ready to play right now. I think you'll like it. And then he decides to leave. So the story is that Connor Newt is a very selfish person.
Yes, agree. I think we can all make that judgment right now just because he's not sitting in studio. We're talking NFL honors in general. Matthew Stafford, MVP. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Offensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. And Mike Vrabel is the Coach of the Year for the second time, this time with the New England Patriots. And Parker, I kind of expected it. I picked Ben Johnson yesterday, but I do think among the national media, Mike Vrabel is just put on this pedestal, and he is elevated because of the personality and the way things ended here in Nashville. And I think national people don't really understand everything that went wrong down the stretch with Vrabel. And so I guess it shouldn't be surprising that he was able to win Coach of the Year, because I do think in a race that was as close as it was, when you look at the resumes for all of those candidates, I do think the personality of Vrabel and how well liked he is among the national media, I think that probably was what pushed him over the top.
And I know it's a regular season award, but when you take a team that was 4-13 the last 2 years, and then you get them, it very well could have been the number one seed in the AFC, tied for the best record in the entire league, and you make the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear. And you're right, the national media does love him. Heck, even the local media loves him. But yeah, it wasn't really much of a shocker.
No, and
by the way, Connor Newt, you're very selfish, because I played Sabrina Carpenter for you, and you weren't here for it because you decided to go to the bathroom.
I don't even know if he can hear you right now.
I can't.
Connor's just sat back down.
Duty called.
He's saying you're selfish because he played Sabrina Carpenter while you were gone.
No, that's selfish of you for playing it while you knew I was gone.
Well, why did you leave?
Duty
Look
called.
at us feuding on the air.
Duty called.
I think the wheels were already in motion to play Sabrina Carpenter by the time you left.
Well, the wheels were already in motion for me to go take a...
Anyway,
Stop.
NFL honors last night. Mike Vrabel wins Coach of the Year. And of course, it's just like we'll see on Sunday, if the Patriots win, it's going to be wow, look at the Titans, and they let him go.
Oh, they're so stupid. Oh, my goodness.
And there's truth to that, right? Like, you have to look back and say, clearly it was the wrong decision. There's no way to paint it in bright colors for the Titans of, oh, well, they let Mike Vrabel walk. They fired him. Great job, Titans. Now he's winning the Super Bowl and winning Coach of the Year, right? Like, it was the wrong decision. But yeah, I think it's always overblown because people just collectively neglect the reasons he got fired.
Exactly. Like you and I have talked about this. Was it probably the wrong mistake in hindsight? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did we understand why it happened when it happened? Yes.
I think most people, and including myself, it was, he shouldn't, like, I don't think he's going to get fired, but if they did it, I think you could understand why.
Yeah. I mean, we all walked away from that thinking he probably should have gotten one more year, but I understand why they wanted to move on.
And that's what I keep saying is everybody, man, the Titans could have Vrabel right now of, they wanted to hire a Vrabel-like coach. Well, they had Mike Vrabel. If you gave him one more year, it wasn't going to get better.
Right.
It really wasn't. You probably win more than 3 games like you did with Brian Callahan, but it wasn't going to be.
Here's why he fits with New England, because they give him everything he wants, and he has better weapons out there. He does. He's got weapons that have come from here to there. He's got the young quarterback. Hell, his second-year quarterback was second place in MVP voting. So he's got things there that he didn't have here. You could say he's advantaged and privileged. I don't think that's true because I think he's a good coach and he deserves this. But when he was fired, at the time he was fired here, it seemed like the majority of the fan base understood it. Now, did things play out and you had an absolute nightmare scenario of your rebound hire? Absolutely. And that's kind of what plays into the whole the Titans are stupid for firing Vrabel thing.
Yep.
But if we go back 3 years without knowing that Brian Callahan was going to come in here and just tear the franchise apart, go back to that day that Mike Vrabel was fired, I would still feel okay with it if I didn't know what was coming ahead.
Hindsight's 2020, and you look back and you're like, yeah, Vrabel would have been much better than what you've had the last couple of years, but there's nothing you can do about it at this point.
And I don't think he liked Will Levis. I think that's kind of a foregone conclusion.
You know, the player who won an award last night, who I'm more upset that isn't a Titan than Mike Vrabel?
JSN.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Mm.
That one hurts me all the time because he was sitting right there. And I like Peter Skoronski. This is not an anti-Peter Skoronski statement because I'm glad the Titans have him.
But that was the guy that came in and you thought, that's an all-pro player right there.
I don't know how he fell that far.
I know. I have a Packers friend who's even more pissed.
They overthought it.
Because they took Lucas Van Ness. And
what was JSN the first wide receiver off the board in that draft, or was he because I know there was a run. It went like 3 in a row. It was Jordan Addison, JSN, and one more who all went.
Drake London, I think.
No.
That was the year before.
It was Quentin Johnston. Oh, okay. 4 straight wide receivers were drafted. JSN was the first one off the board. It was JSN at 20, Quentin Johnston at 21, Zay Flowers 22, Jordan Addison 23.
They're all pretty decent receivers.
Yeah. And
Quentin Johnson, I think, is the worst of the bunch, but he had some come alive moments this year.
I look at it, and again, Peter Skoronski, good player.
Fits the system.
You shouldn't have had to take an offensive lineman there. But you missed with Dylan Radens. You missed with Nicholas Petit-Frere, and you missed with Isaiah Wilson, so you had to.
Mm-hmm. Just unfortunate.
Disappointing. Let's go to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dr. Locke has called in. Dr. Locke, good morning. What you got for us today?
Good morning, fellas. How you doing? A little trivia to start the call. Mike Vrabel, Jackson Smith, and Jigwa, and the young man you said that should have run the rookie and Bigway out of Tampa Bay. Where'd they all play their college ball?
The Ohio State University.
Ah, man, you guys are good this morning. You guys are on it. All right, now, normally I'm going to give you all the listening base a treat. Normally you'd have to call my tout line 1-800-Dr. Locke when you're down to your bookie. You need a lot. Call the 1-800 Dr. freaking Locke, and I'll bail you out. But this time I'm going to give the Super Bowl winner absolutely free. You don't have to pay the $79. It's New England on the money line. It's take the plus 190. You're stealing money. Vegas has it wrong. The only way. So you're going to tell anybody, and I'd love to hear the debate on the other side. Seattle is not twice as good as New England, and if you agree that Seattle is not twice as good, your money's got to be in play on the money line on New England. So you're welcome. Buy your wives something nice after you win.
You're wrong, Dr. Locke.
Thanks for the
call.
call,
I expect
Dr.
a call
Locke.
on Monday.
You got it. I don't run from you, fellas.
Thanks for the call, Dr. Locke.
My favorite Ohio State wide receiver, Emeka Mbikwe,
Yeah,
as he said.
it's close enough. It was better than some of the pronunciations we've heard in the last 24 hours. If he had to get one of them wrong, I'm glad it was that one. I disagree. I think the Seahawks are going to win, and we're going to talk about it on the other side. It is funny though, because Joe picked New England to win. Robbie picked New England to cover at the very least.
I love that.
And Ian picked Seattle just because he needed to catch up and Pigskin pick him, but he said he wanted to pick New England. I don't get it. I don't think it's I think Seattle might be twice the team.
Here's the thing. We're going to see best on best here. We're going to see New England's offense against Seattle's defense. That's where the game is won.
We'll talk about that coming up next. We'll go through all the matchups in Super Bowl 60 coming up on Sunday from Santa Clara. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Parker Kelly, Connor Newt, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, our obligatory lemonade mouth for the day.
Am I allowed to know what Sabrina song was played?
No.
No, yeah, we got
to go back and listen.
Yeah.
And no Sabrina for the rest of the show either. So
because I had bathroom obligations.
Yep.
We got some moderate breaking news.
This could be
here.
planned. It should have been planned before the show.
Yeah.
Connor, what are you doing?
That's true. Maybe we need to schedule out what songs are going to be played.
Do I need to be like
segments.
Sheldon Cooper and just give you my bathroom schedule or something?
Moderate breaking news here. Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is resigning from his post with the Browns.
That was coming.
He is expected to sit out this upcoming season, according to multiple reports. So
they gaslit the hell out of him.
Yeah, they kind of butchered that situation. I get you can't just hire him because you're worried of losing him if you hire Monken. You got to hire the best guy for the job, but the way they handled that, passing him over, I think you had to expect that he was going to be gone.
Yeah. I mean, and the way he talks, and obviously we don't know, we weren't in the room, but he makes it sound like they all but guaranteed him that head coaching job. And then all of a sudden Todd Monken gets it. Which,
right.
If you're an NFL player, why would you ever listen to Todd Monken as an NFL head coach?
I've heard that from somebody.
Emmanuel H.O.
2438 says, hate to break Dr. Locke's heart, but Georgia has had a player in the Super Bowl every year since like 2000 or 2005. Is that like the Penn State graphic from a few years ago? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
A Penn Stater has appeared in every Super Bowl except for 6 since like 1970 or something like that. That's what that was one of my favorite graphics of all time. Just the little fine print except for 6.
Yeah.
So funny. Let's talk Super Bowl here and actually get into the matchups. Seahawks, Patriots. What are we expecting to see? Let's start with the Seahawks offense against the Patriots defense. The defense for the Patriots has been very good through these 3 games. Think you can question the matchups that they've had. The Chargers with half of their offensive line out. The Texans with C.J. Stroud looking like a middle school quarterback at times.
Maybe that test did prove something.
Right. And then Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship game. So you can have that question, but on the field, they've looked pretty good. They're forcing turnovers. Milton Williams has been a game wrecker. I believe I saw that over the last 2 years, he has 5 sacks in 6 playoff games between the Eagles and the Patriots now. He's been great. They've got a good secondary. It's a good Patriots defense. I think a lot of it is going to come down to Sam Darnold. Can he keep up this run that he's on? He has proven that he has gotten over the hump of not being able to win the big game. But now you're in the biggest game. Can he keep that going and avoid some costly turnovers?
I honestly think that's the story for both teams. If your quarterback, who isn't the most proven in the league, obviously Drake May was second in MVP voting, and Sam Darnold has had a remarkable season as well.
28 regular season games last 2 years.
But these guys are not, your surefire going to make big plays in big moments kind of quarterback. So I think the story for both teams is if things go south at quarterback play, do you have impact players on other sides of the ball, whether that be offense or defense, that can make you plays? And for Seattle, that's Jackson Smith and Jigba. And obviously you need Sam Darnold to get the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba. But when you run these short routes, and look, we've watched JSN all season. He's a great route runner. And did you see this reporter the other day that made him actually cringe?
Yes, the Emerald City route artist. Is that what his nickname?
He was like, that's great. Love it. And then the guy doubled down. He's like, yeah, we could just call you ECRA or something like that. And he just like rolled his eyes. But
the Super Bowl media days and some of the questions that get asked, they really need to limit people's credentials. There are some horrible questions that get asked.
It's a joke. Like I don't think I can handle it.
I'm surprised these players sit through it, honestly, most of the time.
They're probably paid for it.
I mean, right. I mean, I guess they kind of have to. It's obligatory, but like, man, some of the questions are awful. But you're right. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he is, want to make sure I'm getting this right and not completely missing somebody. I would say he's the best player on the field on Sunday. I mean, there are good players on both sides.
You could make the argument the guy that came in second place in MVP voting is, but you got the offensive player of the year on the field. So
I would say pound for pound, Jackson Smith and Jigba is a better player than Drake May. Drake May is a quarterback, so he has more of an impact on the game. But JSN, I think, is the best player on the field, and he's going to have a big game.
I would probably agree with you.
He's facing Christian Gonzalez. I don't know if they're going to shadow him or just, play on one side and JSN gets moved around, but that's going to be a great matchup when they're against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an elite cornerback against an elite wide receiver. That could end up playing a big role in this game.
JSN's not the kind of guy you want to have in a one-on-one opportunity because his route running and his speed are at an elite level where he can break loose very, very easily. So I'm interested to see how they do that. Are they going to double him? If they do, what side of the field does that open up? Could we see, Cooper Kupp get involved in the action, Elijah Arroyo, guys like that? I'm interested in Seattle's run game as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kenneth Walker is pretty much their only option at running back as they lost Zach Charbonnet earlier in the season, or early in the playoffs. So I'm interested to see if they can move the ball consistently. And if they can, then I would take Seattle to win this one. I think it'll be close, but I would definitely take Seattle to win. But I truly do think, and I know you're going to flip it over, but I think the key to this matchup is you see best on the other side.
Yep.
And that's the Patriots offense versus Seattle's defense. I think you're seeing both teams' strong suits going up against each other. And it's just a matter of who can make the plays on that end.
Right. I think that's going to be a huge matchup with the way the Seahawks defense has played this year. They've been fantastic. Sticking on Sam Darnold for a second, I really do think him avoiding turnovers is the most important thing here.
It's pivotal.
You look at the last two games for the Patriots. Can you say 100% the Patriots, just in a flow of the game sense, outplayed the Texans or the Broncos? Like, if you're just looking at who was the better team on that given day, I don't know if you can look collectively and say Patriots were better than the Texans. They were better than the Broncos.
They were given gifts.
Well, they took advantage of bad decisions from quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud turned the ball over 4 times. They cashed in on those mistakes. They pulled away. They won the game. Against the Broncos, they scored 1 touchdown, and it was because Jarrett Stidham decided to try and throw the ball while he was being held for a sack. It goes backwards. They score from the 12-yard line.
Yeah.
If Sam Darnold, like we've seen in the past, and even earlier this season, the first game against the Rams, Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions in that game. And they were still in it late. The defense kept them in it, but they lost because Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. He's got to be able to take care of the ball because if there's one thing the Patriots are, they are opportunistic. And if you give them a chance to get a short field and go in and score, that could be the difference in this game on Sunday.
And you have to wonder, it's kind of a storyline that hasn't been talked about a lot, which is surprising to me. But you have to wonder, how does the oblique injury that Sam Darnold has is suffering? I know they make it sound like he's better and he's had 2 weeks off, so maybe that'll help him. But an oblique injury isn't the kind of injury that's just day to day. It's that thing that's kind of
soft tissue.
I mean, you see it all the time in baseball with these pitchers that have these oblique injuries that just regress and devolve into something more, and it ends up resulting in surgery. Tommy John in some cases. So I'm not saying he has this severe degenerative oblique injury, but it does affect his throwing motions. So I'm curious to see how that affects his decision making and overall the accuracy of his ball plays.
Yeah, the twisting on that oblique is definitely a factor. But the 2 weeks off, I think you would guess he is better than he was in the NFC Championship game, and he played pretty well in that game against the Rams. So that will be something to keep an eye on. Again, the Seahawks offense versus the Patriots defense. I give the Seahawks the edge there. I think the weapons that they have with JSN and Cooper Kupp, and honestly, an X factor that we haven't mentioned, Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah,
I think
threat.
Him making a big play, whether it's on offense or on special teams, could also play a big role in this game. He had the kick return for a touchdown against the 49ers to start the game in the divisional round. He had a huge catch early on against the Rams to set the tone. That's a guy the Patriots, I'm sure, are going to be preoccupied with JSN. He's the offensive player of the year for a reason. You have to keep an eye on him. But that might open up one-on-one opportunities for Shaheed down the field. And if Sam Darnold can hit 1 or 2 of those, every play down the field, every explosive play is going to matter in this game.
He is the perfect slot receiver. Perfect. I mean, he is just I don't want to say he's a mismatch champion because he's a shorter guy and, he's not built like a traditional receiver, but he's just so fast and gets under the routes so easily and makes impacts on special teams that he's an impact player for the Seahawks. He's just the way they use him and the way he fits into their scheme. He's a guy you got to watch out for. So I could totally see that as a guy that the Patriots let have a day, and that won't be good for them.
No, and that's why the Seahawks have been so dangerous. They've got the star on one side, but Cooper Kupp, AJ Barner, Rashid Shaheed, the Elijah Arroyo, Kenneth Walker, they got weapons everywhere. So going to be a good matchup there. But you mentioned it. I do think this game is going to come down to what can the Patriots offense do against the Seahawks defense? Because the defense has been so good for Seattle, but Drake May hasn't been asked to do a ton in the playoffs. But there's a reason he finished second in the MVP voting. He can make plays. We'll talk about that matchup coming up next. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Finishing up hour number 2 here on the show.
If only she became a pop star and didn't decide to become a rocket scientist.
One of the most well-rounded people in the world.
I mean, she's unbelievable.
Yeah.
An
Bridget Mendler.
actress, a
Shout out.
singer.
A rocket scientist.
Shout out to Bridget Mendler.
Shout out.
Good old Teddy Dunks.
One of the stars of our generation. Talking Super Bowl, we went through the Seahawks offense against the Patriots defense, but I think, Connor, we both agree that this matchup is going to be one on the other side of the ball. The Seahawks defense has been so good this year. They've got players all over the field, but a big question becomes, is Nick Emanwari going to play? Apparently he injured his ankle a little bit in practice back on Wednesday. I think, of course, it's the Super Bowl. They're going to try and get him out there and see if he can play, but they've kind of designed that defense around him. Yeah, they've got players at all 3 levels, but his unique skill set has been a big reason why Seattle's been so good. Becomes a different game if he's not on the field or if he's not 100% out there on Sunday.
Yeah, another guy that should have been a Titan. Anyways, yeah, he's pretty pivotal to the success of that defense. And I think they'll still be able to manage without him just because of the pieces they have. You've mentioned Witherspoon, or is he?
Yeah, Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen.
Tariq Woolen, of course. Great secondary, great pass rush for Titans legend, Ernest Jones. Titan, sorry, my words are not wording right now. Titans legend Ernest Jones, all over the field. So I think him being available is important. But Emanwari provides them a bonus. He provides them, like you said, they kind of scheme that defense around the way he moves. So I think him being available is important. And look, this is a Super Bowl. This is the biggest game of the year. So I think he's going to do everything in his power to be available. It sounds like that ankle is getting better and better.
I think he's going to play, but
tape it up, go to work.
Right. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. Unless he can't walk, he's probably going to find his way onto the field.
Yeah.
But it does at least put it into your mind of, is he going to be 100%? And could that leave an opening for this Patriots offense that, when I look at the offense for the Patriots, there's nothing flashy about it. Right? Like the weapons, Stephon Diggs is aging past his prime. He's still a fine player, but not great. Kayshon Boutte he's a flashy player, I guess. But not consistent, right? Like every catch he makes is crazy.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do the consistent things of just being a regular wide receiver.
He only does things when I'm not watching their games. Like every time I've sat down to watch the Patriots, he hasn't done the crazy, 100+ yard game.
Right.
He's not that kind of player.
He makes acrobatic catches, and maybe he has to make one on Sunday. Then you've got some other guys. I know Mac Hollins is getting a lot of the headlines for the Warriors come out to play thing with the bottles for the AFC Championship game. He's an okay player. Kyle Williams has 10 catches this year, 3 for touchdowns, but 10 catches. So like the wide receiver group is meh. Tight ends, I like Hunter Henry. Meh.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson is solid. I like Travion Henderson, but they don't use him a whole lot. Like,
it's weird.
You look around that Patriots offense, and I think that's a big reason why Drake May was viewed as a serious MVP candidate, nearly won the MVP, was you look at the guys he has around him, and it's like, man, he elevated that group to get to where they are.
And Stafford, I guess you could say, is advantage because he's throwing to Devontae Adams
Puka
and
Nacua.
So,
right. He's got Kyron Williams behind him.
Right.
Like, you look at it and you say, yeah, Stafford has the better situation around him. Can Drake May elevate? I think a lot of this game, just as I said, can Darnold avoid the big mistake? I think for May, it's more, can Drake May elevate this team?
Yeah.
I think Drake May is going to have to make a handful of massive plays, 3rd and 4th downs in the red zone. He's going to have to make plays for this team to win on Sunday because the Seahawks are the better team. If you look at the rosters, the Seahawks are the better football team.
I would agree.
That doesn't mean the Patriots can't win. I think to do that, Drake May is going to have to be special on Sunday.
Yeah. You're going to have to see why he was considered an MVP candidate. He's going to have to make those special plays. And not to restate exactly what you just said, but it's true. You got to see him make these big-time superstar plays. And It's a matter of can his receivers step up as well. I mean, Stephon Diggs has never been in this situation before. He's never been in a Super Bowl. You've never seen some of these lesser wide receivers that are on this roster, Mac Hollins, be in a Super Bowl. And this is kind of where the Patriots seem to thrive, though, it seems like. This is where when they seem like they're at their worst or disadvantaged or the other team is just flat out better than them, they come out swinging and get the win.
It's a Vrabel special.
It's a Vrabel special. We know it very, very well. And we haven't seen that much this year just because of the schedule they've played. But when they have played teams that are considered better than them, they've held their own.
Yeah, they went out and beat Buffalo on the road early on. And that was kind of the epitome of the Vrabel special of they hadn't beaten anybody to that point in the season. Everybody was kind of like, oh, they're going to get theirs this week. The Bills are going to go in and they're going to crush them. And they go out and win.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he's taking the press clippings right now. There are a lot of people picking the Seahawks. I think nationally, pretty overwhelmingly, people are on the Seahawks.
Seattle's favored.
They're favored. I think there are a lot of people who think Seattle's going to win big. Our text line is completely against it. We're getting a lot of texts about the Patriots winning.
And I don't understand it. But
I wonder if it's just the Vrabel effect of Titans fans know Vrabel and they think he's going to go in there and just outcoach Mike McDonald and have his team raring to go. And I'm sure he is going to have his team ready to go.
Right, but he's been in this situation before and we felt that way. Oh, Vrabel's going to go in there. He's the number 1 overall seed. He's going to outcoach Zach Taylor.
Right.
What happened?
He had 2 weeks to get ready. Vrabel's going to have this team ready to go.
Yep. Oh, they beat the Ravens earlier in the season. He's going to outcoach John Harbaugh. What happened?
And I don't blame 100% Vrabel for the Bengals loss because, he can't control Tannehill throwing 3 picks. But
they've gotten to the AFC Championship with an underdog team. Vrabel's got this team ready to go. What happened?
And they came out hot. 17-7.
They did. And then blew it in the second half. But that's okay.
The Patriots certainly can win the game. 100% they can win the game. I just think we'll use the Doctor Strange thing here. If Parker is back there, when I look forward at all the scenarios for the Super Bowl on Sunday, most of them I think favor the Seahawks.
Yeah. Well, I agree. But there is a world. It's the Super Bowl.
It's one game.
I don't get into the whole FPI percentages of winning.
No, it's stupid.
Every team has a 50-50 shot in winning, except if you're the Tennessee Titans and you were in this game. But I believe every team has an equal chance of winning. But to your point, I think fortune favors the Seattle Seahawks just because I think that roster from top to bottom is better than New England's.
I just think there's more ways this game could play out that ends with the Seahawks winning, right? Like they have more ways to win this game. The Patriots definitely can win the game, and I'm with you. I don't the FPI percentage. I think it's just something.
It's computer calculated garbage.
Right? It's stupid, but I think a lot is going to have to go the Patriots' way if they're going to win. The Seahawks are the better team. I don't think anyone can argue that. Up and down that roster, the Seattle has better players on both sides of the ball, and in order to win, I think you're going to have to win on the margins. You're going to have to convert a lot of third downs. You're going to need touchdowns instead of field goals. And you probably need Mike Vrabel to do something Vrabel-like of knowing the rules or making a decision at a certain time that tilts the scales in your favor just a little bit. I think that's what you're going to need to win this game on Sunday.
Yeah, you're going to need everyone to be clicking on all fronts. And that goes for both teams. This is the Super Bowl. Let's not forget. This is the championship game. You got one game to prove everything.
It's not a 7-game series like other sports.
Yeah.
Like, again, I said this, I think with Corey, if this was a 7-game series, Seahawks in 5.
Yeah.
Like that's how I would view it. But it's not a 7-game series.
Right.
Just takes one.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a good game. I do.
I've
said 31-23 all week long. I'm sticking with it. That is my final prediction. 31-23 Seattle.
I like that. I think I'm going to go 28-23.
Yeah.
Seattle.
I think it's going to be
I think it's
going
to be close. I think it's going to be within a score. And if it's more than one score, it'll be by like 9 or 10.
We got a blowout last year. I really just hope it's a good game.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, the 31-23 comes when it's 24-23 Seattle and Sam Darnold leads an icing game-clinching drive at the end.
I mean, outside of the game, there is nothing I care about. This commercials suck now.
See, I think some of the commercials I've seen are pretty funny.
Some of them are. I'm excited for the Ben Affleck one it's like a Friends reunion. I'm a big Friends fan. So.
I thought the Kendall Jenner one for whatever sports book it is that's come out.
I haven't
was
seen that yet.
It's basically like that because she curses her NBA boyfriends that she's been betting against them the whole time and like has this private NBA boyfriend number 3 got me this private jet. And it's like, I thought that was pretty well done.
Pretty funny. But I don't care about most of the commercials. I definitely do not care about the halftime show. I don't even care about the other stuff. I just don't really like his music. So
we'll talk about that later on. We're going to do Monday headlines, which I think this is going to be a really fun Monday headlines coming up at 11:30 because we're going to go off the wall. Like there's so much that goes on with the Super Bowl. It doesn't have to be on the field, your Monday headlines. I've got one that is not football related.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that coming up next. 615-737-1025. We got an hour to go here on this Friday. We're going to talk a little Titans and how they can relate to these teams in the Super Bowl. Is there a blueprint that the Titans can follow that could get them closer to an eventual trip to the Super Bowl? We'll do that next. And again, our Monday headlines coming up at 11:30. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Final hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you. We are 2 days away from the Super Bowl. Big one coming up, Pats and Seahawks. We are previewing that throughout the morning, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. So to tie the Super Bowl back to the Titans a little bit here, obviously the Titans are very far away from being in the Super Bowl. They've got 6 wins in the last 2 years.
Oh, check Titans Twitter. He'll be there next year.
It's the honeymoon phase.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is in love with the new coaching staff. And I'm not faulting you for that. I think the coaching staff looks good, but there's still, as Mike Borgonzi said when Big Joe asked him at the beginning of the year, there is still a lot of work to do on this roster. And that work starts coming up next month with free agency and into the draft. But is there a blueprint you can look at with these Super Bowl teams to say, all right, neither of these teams were considered serious Super Bowl contenders heading into the year? Is there a blueprint of what you can look at and say, if we do these things, that's going to get us closer to the Super Bowl? Maybe not next year, but heading into 2027, 2028, and beyond.
I think it begins with finding Cam Ward a reliable target. If you look at both of these teams, Sam Darnold has a reliable target, and I know this is an extreme, but he's throwing the ball to Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is undoubtedly a number 1 receiver in this league. Drake May is thrown to Stephon Diggs, who is aging, but a proven receiver in this game and a guy that can still go out there and make plays. Now, I'm not saying that the Titans should go out and spend a whole boatload of money on an elite wide receiver because, quite frankly, I don't think that's going to become available to them in free agency. I think if you're going to find an elite level wide receiver like those two, it's going to be through the draft, and I don't think you do that this year. Not in the earliest round, of course. But I think it begins and ends with finding reliable targets for your quarterback because he didn't really have that his rookie year. Chimdike was probably the closest thing to reliability he had. And to me, Chimdike isn't of the caliber receiver of those two guys. Great player, great special teams, all pro, obviously. But to me, he's always going to be kind of just a wide receiver 2 or 3.
He's more of what your Rashid Shaheed can be rather than a Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Exactly. So, look, I'm not saying the Titans need to go blow a first-round pick on a receiver. I think you can do that next year because Nick Frazier and I share a love for a certain someone out of the Ohio State University, and he's going to go high. So I'm hoping that happens. But I think you just have to find some reliable targets for Cam Ward. And there are guys available, like Juwan Jennings is going to be out there. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I think, is
Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs is another one I'm thinking of.
Alec Pierce.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be none of these guys are elite caliber wide receivers that are just going to completely transform an offense. But what I'm saying is they're proven veteran receivers that are capable of making some big plays. And Juwan Jennings, I think, would be the perfect fit here because of the familiarity with the city. He's a Nashville guy, obviously. He's made another quarterback who was in a similar position as Cam Ward look good in Brock Purdy. So I think he would be a good fit here. But overall, the message, I think the first step in the blueprint to getting back is finding a reliable target for your young quarterback.
I asked the question here more playing devil's advocate. Stephon Diggs, kind of your aging veteran wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Do you bring back Calvin Ridley? I think Ridley hasn't been reliable enough, and that's probably why he gets cut. I am on the train of he's not going to be back next year.
I agree.
I think just because the injuries, the drops have been an issue too. But if you're looking for a guy who is a veteran, who has experience, and at least can be that type of guy for Cam Ward without having to go spend more money in free agency or spend a draft pick, I think Calvin Ridley at least has the potential to be a similar type of guy to Stephon Diggs heading into year 2.
I could see it. It's a matter of can he get his injury and his consistency together, but he has not been worth the contract.
No, not at all.
I mean, they give him a 4-year, $90 million contract, and he hasn't really done anything with it. So I could see them potentially bringing him back to fill that role, kind of like you said, but I'm with you. I'm on the train of maybe it's for the best that they let him go.
I just wonder if you look at it and at the end of the offseason, you cut Calvin Ridley just to go spend, I don't know, $18 million a year on Jawan Jennings. Do you look and say, man, we are way better off spending this money on Jawan Jennings than we are on Calvin Ridley? I don't know. Like,
they're pretty comparable players.
I really like Calvin Ridley as a player when he's on. It's just not, it doesn't happen enough, right? Like, he has these games and these stretches where you're like, he could be a wide receiver 1, but then he falls apart or he gets hurt, and it's like, you just can't rely on that for the money that you're spending. But
I think some of it too, as far as the blueprint is concerned, is you got to hope some of these role players, I guess would be the term, take a step. That's how the Patriots are operating right now.
Yeah.
Mac Hollins has taken a step under Drake May. They have maybe role player wide receivers outside of Stephon Diggs, but they have kind of taken the step. And I think that's because Drake May elevates them a little bit. So I think you have to hope that Cam Ward does that a little bit as well with Jim DK, of course, and Alec Iomanner and whoever you end up with in the draft, because I feel like they're going to take a wide receiver at some point, maybe not early, but maybe later in the draft. I think you just have to hope that he has that factor that you can elevate the guys that are around him. And you saw some of that this past year.
Yeah.
Cam Ward elevated Jim DK. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Cam Ward at certain points in the season helped elevate Alec Iomanner. So I'm not saying he is Tom Brady and he can turn me and you into all-pro wide receivers, but I do think there is some factor of Cam Ward's game that allows him to do that. So I think you have to hope for the best that continues, and just you got to hope that the offense as a whole starts to gel. And whether or not they spend money in free agency on that, which I think they will, whether or not they spend a draft pick on that, which I think they will, you have to hope that it's all for the best. And I think the coaching staff, as you talked about, will help with that. Brian Daboll is a good scheming coach. So I think they've got things that they can take forward into building this blueprint, and maybe some of those things are temporary because of Brian Daboll. If he has the success you hope he has, he's probably gone. But I do think you have keys to the kingdom, and I'm not saying you're getting straight into heaven, but you're on your way.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point of just like almost every Super Bowl over the last few years, when you look at the blueprint for how they got there, they got improved quarterback play.
Yeah.
Like Drake May took a massive leap from year 1 to year 2. Sam Darnold was way better than Geno Smith last year. And guess what? That is what elevated these two teams to get to the Super Bowl. So that's where it starts, is Cam Ward has to improve. And you think you brought in the right guy to develop him in Brian Daboll. If you can bring in the weapons around him, I think you will get improved quarterback play. But how much improved is going to depend on Cam Ward and the talent that he has. But if the Titans are going to take that step this year, next year, the year after, it's going to have to start with getting improved quarterback play from Cam Ward or beyond Cam Ward if he doesn't bring it to you.
Right. And I think that's kind of just a wait and see thing right now. You don't know. There's a long way to go before this team hits the field in the next year. We still got to finish this season. Let's not forget, folks.
Yep. We still got one more
game, and then we'll talk about it in August. But I think there are a lot of things that you feel good about on the Titans, especially on the offensive side of the ball, which is weird considering they hired a defensive coach. But defense is another thing that I think needs to take a little bit of a step. I think you start by taking Reuben Bain and getting someone to hit the quarterback. But I think secondary needs to improve. You look, both of these teams have good secondaries. So I think you just need to be a well-rounded team all around it. Like the Seattle Seahawks, I think, are one of the more well-rounded teams in the entire league. It's why they're in the Super Bowl. It's why they're the 1 seed in the NFC. So they got a long way to go, but they do have beneficiary factors that are trending in their direction that I think you can look at and say, if they keep those and those hit, they could be in this conversation someday.
Well, and I think you look at it and you can say it looks like the Titans after this free fall are starting to tick back up.
Yeah.
With the coaching staff that they've put together, the young talent, the
Couldn't
young
get much
quarterback.
lower.
It does feel like you have started to flip back towards positive momentum. A lot has to keep that going, But this offseason is going to be very important in terms of the player acquisition that Mike Borgonzi does to add to this roster. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You can text or call if you have any thoughts. We'll continue the conversation on the other side. Also, Monday headlines coming up at the bottom of the hour. We will do an all Super Bowl edition of Monday headlines as we try and predict what's going to happen over the weekend. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game.
Another forgotten pop star. Now turned actor. One of the most famous actors in the world. Actress.
Why am I blanking?
Zendaya.
Oh, this is Zendaya. Oh. Yeah, I remember her Disney Channel days.
Shake It Up.
Shake It Up, yeah. That was a good one.
I like Shake It Up.
Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. We got a few more segments on this Friday. We're going to do Monday headlines, Super Bowl edition coming up in the next segment, but we're looking at the blueprint that maybe the Titans can take from the two teams in the Super Bowl right now, Patriots and Seahawks. And we talked about the weapons. We talked about the quarterback play needs to be better. I think another big thing is you can see both these teams built through the trenches. They've spent high draft capital. They've made trades. They've made big free agent acquisitions on the defensive and on the offensive line. The Titans, your offensive line looks better than it has in the past. It's a very low bar, but it looks better.
You and I could look better as offensive linemen than what they put out on the field a couple years ago.
We
could go out in that parking lot and make some guys jump off sides.
We adopted the phrase for 3 years.
That's a new video idea, Kim, if you're listening. Jake and I are going to go out in Broadway and see if we can get bartenders to jump.
Is that hot?
Green ID!
I got a pretty good hard count.
Check the mic. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
I'll drop into a pass set too. We adopted the phrase for 3 years of, well, it can't be worse, right? And it somehow found a way to be worse. This year it was better. You hope it takes another step with some continuity on the offensive line. Eventually, you're going to have to spend more draft capital there. You mentioned it in the last segment, and I agree with you. I think you need Ruben Bain on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Your best player on the team right now is a defensive lineman. It's Jeffrey Simmons. But you add Ruben Bain to Jeffrey Simmons, and that immediately becomes not just a strength of your team, but if Ruben Bain is the player that I think a lot of people expect him to be, you have one of the best 1-2 punches on your defensive line in the league, hopefully, in the next few years. Or
the front line in general. I don't want to say best, but in terms of potential, you've got an all-pro in Jeffrey Simmons.
Yep.
You'd have a high rookie in Ruben Bain. And let's see what Tavondre Sweat can do.
Yeah. Because there's been a lot of talk about Sweat this week.
I think you give him a chance.
Because
he's shown you flashes.
He is. I said this with TD yesterday. He is much more valuable on your team than he is off it, right? Like whatever draft pick you're going to get for Tavondre Sweat is not going to be worth what he can become if he takes the next step and you can find a fit for him in this defense. I understand the notion of typically in a Robert Saleh defense, the scheme that he runs, there isn't a player like Tavondre Sweat. You don't have a nose tackle. Can you scheme something up to get him on the field if he is one of your best players? Yes. Coaches make their schemes to fit their best players all the time. That's what they are tasked with doing, is put your best players in position to succeed. Tavondre Sweat just needs to prove that he can be one of your best players.
Yeah. Well, I think some of it is this may be a hard subject for some Titans fans, but I don't think you necessarily need Tavondre Sweat to be the one to hit the quarterback. I think he can play kind of that nose tackle role in stuffing the run or bringing pressure to the quarterback.
Right.
And then here comes Ruben Bain or Jeffrey Simmons to do something.
Just a gap eater.
You just need someone to hit the quarterback in the draft. And I think that's Ruben Bain. I've heard you say this, so I'm going to say it too. I don't care about the short arms thing. He's just a good football player.
Yeah.
And if you watch the college football playoff like you and I did, you see that he makes plays despite the short arms or whatever these quote unquote draft experts say. He makes good plays. So I think that'll continue in the NFL. I think Ruben Bain will be incredibly valuable to an NFL team, and I would love to see him be the number 4 overall pick. But as far as Tavondre Sweat is concerned, if you can find a role for him on this team, especially in this new formation that you're probably going to end up running in the 4-3, I think he would fit well. I think he's the kind of guy to clog up the lane a little bit or draw pressure. And here comes your defensive end off the right side and Ruben Bain, or here comes Jeffrey Simmons right up the middle to get the sack. I think that would be a dangerous front line, but it's a matter of can Tavondre Sweat get things together and prove himself that he is capable of being a competent fit in this defense.
Well, and I think the next time we hear from Robert Saleh, whenever that is, combine, free agency, leading into the draft, I don't know. I would guess we'll hear from him at the combine.
Probably.
I think that's going to be one of the questions to him is, can Tavondre Sweat fit in your system? Do you think Tavondre Sweat maybe could slide over and play the 3 tech? I think he is a good enough player to do it. Like, yes, that's not his natural position, but I really think they can figure it out if he is willing to take the strides to improve. I think he's got to work out with Jeffrey Simmons. He's got to transform his body a little bit.
Stole my words.
He's got to stay healthy, right? Like, that's what killed him this past year, is that he missed most of training camp and he never really got to see Tavondre Sweat.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted. The Hardy Boys are outside.
Oh, I saw they were on with Chase and Big Joe yesterday.
They're on with the Buzz today.
That's awesome.
So I'm kind of
starstruck.
I'm kind of freaking out. So
no, I just saying, I think this defensive line has potential. It really does. And if you bring in a guy like Ruben Bain, I think that could become the strength of your team immediately. 4395 on the text line says, we need a true number one. We need Tate. I really like Carnell Tate as a player. I do. Is he worthy of the fourth overall pick?
No.
That's where I am with this wide receiver class.
Not for this team.
I think if the Titans were picking, let's say 8th, I would look at it and say, yeah, you're probably going to be too far down to get Reese or Bain or Bailey, but you're going to have one of those wide receivers falling into your lap. And I would love, if you're picking 8th, to take Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon or something like that. At 4, Carnell Tate's a good player, and he's probably a top 10 pick. But is he Jamar Chase?
I don't think he's truly transformative of an offense like Jamar Chase, or next year like I think Jeremiah Smith will be.
Right.
I think he's a good player. I think he can be a number one wide receiver in this league.
I agree.
I don't think he is going to take your offense from 0 to 100.
When you're picking at 4th overall, you're looking for cornerstone franchise players. I think Carnell Tate will be a really good player in this league. I don't know if he's a cornerstone. I think you can get a bookend pass rusher who can be a Pro Bowl, all-pro level player at 4. And that's much more valuable than a wide receiver who is not transformative. 4395 says Ruben Bain was horrible against Texas.
They didn't play Texas.
I was going to say they didn't play Texas, and he was amazing against Texas A&M. He was amazing against Ohio State. He was amazing against Ole Miss. He was great against Indiana.
Urban Bain. Who's Urban Bain? Ruben.
I think we've talked about it too. If they draft Ruben Bain, the social media stuff will be phenomenal. Of all of the Bain memes
with the mask
from The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, all of the quotes, they expect one of us in the Wreckage Brother.
It's going to be great when he goes up and holds the brand new jersey that they're going to unveil.
What are you thinking on that? I think it's gonna be a full new set. We were talking with TD yesterday, and like, I don't think there's any legitimate reports around this, but just the smoke feels too strong for it not to be happening.
Well, we did a poll on my show last Saturday on the logo, and I asked the listeners, do you like the sword mock-up that you've seen? That kind of has the oil derrick hidden in it, the light blue and the red. Or do you like the one that's hanging up in the Titans house?
Just the circle?
The majority love the sword, and I agree.
So I saw something yesterday, and this is more like conspiracy theory stuff. Nate Bargatze's new movie, he's wearing Titans gear, and it has the sword logo on it, not the fireball.
That's such a deep conspiracy.
I know it's full on conspiracy theory, but it's like, if I'm sure they had to ask whether he could wear that in the movie, and they're going to tell him what he can wear. Just
unless it's a trailer, so maybe things are a bit edited.
Yeah, it's possible too. I saw the report. I think it was Zach Cohen. I think that is his name, who does the uniform tracker stuff on Twitter. He said that he thinks they're going to unveil them before the draft. So it's going to happen quickly. We're going to start to get teasers and reports here quickly, I would guess.
Someone's asking how the vote went. Okay, so I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it was like 75% of people like the sword.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I don't hate the circle, but
I do.
Really?
I think it takes all the allure away. If you're going to keep the thumbtack, keep the flame too. I would be okay with if they do want to rebrand and recolor the flaming thumbtack and maybe make it like light blue and white with the red in there. I think it would look good, but I don't really like, I don't like the thumbtack without the flame.
Yeah, I think I could go either way. I really think that it could be either, and I wouldn't be upset. But we'll see. But we don't know anything specific about it yet.
I've seen rumors on chrome helmets though.
Are
you laughing? What I'm laughing at?
I am, and the texter who said he was Ruben Bain was horrible against Texas. He says, meant A&M. Please check your Bain stats against A&M. Here are Ruben Bain's stats against Texas A&M in the college football playoff game. 5 total tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. That's a pretty good game. He
didn't get 4 sacks. He sucks.
Horrible. 2527 has sent in some mock-ups.
Yep, that's the sword I use.
Okay, so that's the sword. Oh, and I see the oil derrick in there.
Yeah.
I like it.
The red outline.
The chrome helmets would take some getting used to.
I would like white helmets.
I would agree. I think white would be better.
White with that sword logo, red face mask. It's a return to history, but it's also new.
You go your base uniforms are the light blue and the white.
Yep.
Red alternate.
Yep. How cool would white helmet, red top, white bottom look with light blue socks? That will look so cool.
Magnificent. Give me 14 of them right now.
Give me 22.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call. Coming up next, Monday headlines. We are going to try and make our guesses at what's going to happen in the Super Bowl on Sunday. And I will say, this does not have to be on the field. This could be anything related to the game. National anthem, halftime show, Gatorade color. We'll do all of it coming up next here on the program. And send yours in on our phone and text line at 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 1025 The Game. Wow, is this a crossover edition?
Is this TD's girl?
It is TD's girl.
Where
You're going to
Hopefully
summon
his
him.
actual girl's not listening.
I just saw
That's
TD's
true.
car pull into the parking lot. He heard it.
He's pressed up against the window.
Just kidding.
What's this lady's name again?
Keisha Cole.
Keisha Cole. That's right.
Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Live and Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you. It is time for our Monday headlines. What is going to happen over the weekend? And it is a special Super Bowl edition. So I'm leaving this completely open-ended. Just pick something that's going to happen around the Super Bowl on Sunday. Doesn't even have to be on the field. But what do we think is going to happen? Connor Newt, give us your first one.
I've already given you the score prediction. So both of these are just going to be completely unrelated to the
Okay.
game. I think you and I talked about this off the air. The broadcast is on NBC, which means we get Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. I'm going to go over 5 Patrick Mahomes mentions for
Okay.
Chris Collinsworth.
All right. That's a good one.
I don't know.
Looks like Mahomes out there.
Oh my God, that was very.
Which means
Mahomey.
I just need some
We're getting-
dynamic quarterback play on
We're
both
getting
ends.
some. We got some Romo in there too. On the
I don't know, Tirico.
I don't know, Jim. I like it. And I do want to say, shout out Mike Tirico calling his first Super Bowl on Sunday.
Yeah, he's missing the Olympics.
Yes. So one of the best play-by-play broadcasters out there in
Love
any
him.
sport. Great to see him call the Super Bowl. Excited for
Miss
that.
him on basketball.
He's calling NBA now.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't
since
watch
the
enough
NBC
NBA.
got it. Me neither. But yeah, he's doing some NBA now.
He
Um,
played basketball at Syracuse. Fun fact. So
Did he
he's
play?
he's a basketball guy. Yeah.
I know he was. I know he went to Syracuse, obviously, but yeah, really cool to see Mike Tirico get his first Super Bowl on Sunday. I am going to say, and this is going to be unpopular. There's a lot of people out there who are not happy about the halftime show. I think it is going to be widely applauded after the game. I think people are going to be surprised. And this is from somebody who doesn't follow Bad Bunny. I don't know Bad Bunny. I think he is going to impress people.
I think it will be the most watched halftime show in history. Just because of the world.
And maybe people just turn it off, which is that's very possible.
For me,
too.
I will get up and get food.
I think people are going to enjoy it if you go in with an open mind. And this is somebody who I have no idea what to expect. I don't listen to Bad Bunny, but I think just the NFL wouldn't have put him in this position if they didn't think he was going to put on a good show. So
That's a subjective take, though. But
yeah, there's no way to quantify it.
Yeah.
But I think we will come in and we will say that was a pretty good halftime show on Sunday.
yeah, unless I go in with the mindset of I'm going to hate it regardless.
Right. And that's what I think too many people are going to go in with that mindset. I'm going in with an open mind as somebody who's not a fan of Bad Bunny's music, and we'll see what happens on the other side. Parker, give us your first Monday headline for the Super Bowl.
Well, I'd just like to state first for the record that Dr. Locke is wrong. The Seahawks are going to win this football game. That's not my headline, though. I'm going to do 2 very fun headlines. So my wife and I are hosting a Super Bowl party. We're
you didn't
getting
invite me?
these. What?
You didn't invite me?
You're more than welcome. You don't need an invitation, Connor, even though that you left when I played Sabrina Carpenter. We'll leave that to the side.
I'm sorry.
We're having these chicken mini things that we got from a place that I will not shout out because they've not paid for
you go.
advertising.
No free ads, baby.
Over under how many I eat.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to set the bar at 10.5.
Oh,
How big are they?
They're about the size of a normal chicken mini.
Okay.
But there are
gotcha.
going to be other things too. So it's going to be like my main focus,
Right.
but there are going to be other things too.
I'll take the over. Life's too short to take the under.
I'll take the under. I think it's going to be right at like 9.
Now keep in mind, I can't eat.
Now, I was
can
going
eat
to
a
say,
lot.
I think Parker's got it in him. I'm going to say you end up around 12.
That is true. This is a holiday, so you eat on holidays.
And calories don't count on holidays,
yeah.
Right.
as we all know.
You can hit legs.
That's right.
Monday.
I can hit legs after. It'd be fine.
All right, let's go with another one. I will go in game for my second one here. I'm going to say Jackson Smith and Jigba is your Super Bowl MVP.
I really like that. Although I think it'll be
It's
The
tough.
quarterback.
It can be a quarterback award. I think he's going to be good enough. I'll say 110 yards, 2 touchdowns for Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he wins the Super Bowl MVP.
See, I think in that case they would give it to Darnold because of his story. That's what they like to do a lot because of, remember the one Super Bowl where it was Julian Edelman that was the Super Bowl. I think it was the Rams in 19, and it was like 10-3. So I don't know. I don't know, but I do like that.
We're not going to go basic here. I'm going to go JSN MVP. What you got, Connor? Are you going in game, out of game, off the wall?
I'll go pregame.
Okay.
National anthem. Over a minute and a half.
Okay. I don't know what
Who's singing the national anthem?
I think it's Charlie Puth, if I'm not mistaken.
And who's singing America the Beautiful too? There's somebody I saw this the other day.
Is it what's her name? That Christian singer?
So it is Charlie Puth. And also pregame performances from Coco Jones.
Not familiar.
Let It Shine.
You don't know Coco Jones?
Oh,
and Brandy Carlisle. So
Brandy Carlisle. Right.
I think that's who's singing the America the Beautiful.
I'll go over a minute and a half because I've seen Charlie Puth in concert. I used to be a big fan like 10 years ago. But he's very methodical. You've seen his TikToks, right? Like I think he'll pull out the keyboard, take his time, make some runs. I will pull out the stopwatch.
Okay.
And when it happens, I will screenshot and send it to both of you.
Yeah, you let us know.
And this is like over 130.0. If it's 130.1, it counts.
It's okay. Yeah. No, I'm with you on it. As somebody who hates long national anthems because it messes with my timing on pregame shows, I'm going to root for the under there for the sake of my radio.
For the sake of Westwood One.
Yes. There you go. Parker, what's your final Monday headline for the Super Bowl?
Okay, so this has not been confirmed, I don't think, but there's speculation that there's going to be an Avengers Doomsday teaser that is going to be aired during the broadcast at some point. Now, I am going to take an optimistic approach and say that it will air.
They haven't.
But
sorry, pal.
But
it's not gonna happen.
Is it so? I have a feeling it's either going to be in the second half or it's going to be after the game. I don't think it's going to be in the first half.
No, they're going to show it in the first half.
You don't think they're going to do it?
Maybe halftime.
See, I'm going to go. Ooh, yeah, that's tough.
Once we get to the fourth quarter, that's when all the bad commercials.
Right,
start.
They like to get those out of the way early on. I'd say halftime, early third quarter.
Okay, that's what I'm going to say.
Hopefully, it's not
the
like
Avengers Doomsday trailer is going to air then.
Hopefully, it's not like that one year where it was all like medicine commercials.
Yeah. I've seen some of them. I've tried to avoid them because I do like being surprised.
I haven't seen any of them. I've seen teasers for them. Like I keep seeing the Ben Stiller, Benson Boone ones, where they're like the brothers singing.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
And you hate Benson Boone.
I do. So. I despise.
0711 says the only Bad Bunny I will watch is on Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That's very well done.
I haven't seen that movie in a while.
It was one of my favorites as a kid. I haven't watched it in a little bit here, but there you go. If you want to know what's going to happen in the Super Bowl, except for anything going on in the game, that's our predictions.
We did one. You did one.
I did one for the game. Yes. JSN Super Bowl MVP. Everything
we talked enough about what's going to happen in the game.
Right. Before we wrap up this segment, heads or tails?
Oh, usually I say tails never fails, but every time I say that, it's heads. So I'll go heads.
Tails never fails. Give me tails.
Give me tails.
All right. 2 on tails, Connor's on heads. There you go. Those are our Monday headlines for the Super Bowl. We have completely.
That sounds weird out of context.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah,
I've got a Hall of Fame of this stuff.
Yeah,
Nick Frazier put it together.
I just joined you on that one.
So
yeah, that's my bad. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We got one more segment on this Friday. We'll wrap up the show coming up next. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game.
Watt. Here's a guy with 10 sacks this year, 10 tackles for loss.
I'll tell you another thing, Michelle. I mean, here's a guy, he's already in the mix for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He's one of the top guys in all the NFL. A lot of fun to watch. I think these two guys are about as brave as it gets. Killer Witherspoon's a guy that they really do believe can be a star in this league.
There will be plenty of guys out there on the field.
Oh, that's a fun Super Bowl game.
On
Take
Sunday.
a shot every time Chris Collinsworth
Now
says,
here's a guy.
you will be drunk by the first half. Or the second half, I mean.
Sam Darnold. Now here's a guy.
Oh, my God. It's like do you remember that episode of How I Met Your Mother? But
Yeah.
Where Robin all the time says but on
And then
on
she
the
just
broadcast.
embraces it. But Yeah, that'll be a fun one on Sunday. Mike Tirico. Is it Kaylee Hartung who's doing sideline? At least one of the sidelines.
Yes. And then,
I think they're having two.
Melissa Stark.
Yes,
the other.
Melissa Stark.
Melissa
is the other
Stark's
one.
great.
Yes, that's a great crew. Out of the crews, I think that's one of my favorites.
I just love the Sunday Night Football broadcast as a whole
Yeah,
because they make it feel so much bigger.
it's
than-
majestic.
the broadcast I missed
The
most.
music.
I mean, NHL on NBC was tremendous.
Yeah, with Doc Emmerich.
Doc Emmerich and
Yeah.
Eddie Olczyk, and I miss it so much.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point. Out of the NFL crews that could get it, they're all pretty good right now. I would say it's tough because I do love Jim Nantz, but I
can't do Tony.
don't
Romo.
love the CBS crew because of Romo.
I like Joe and Troy.
Buck and Aikman are good. I think Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady with Tom Rinaldi on
Tom's
the
got-
sideline. Like
Brady's gotten a lot better.
that NFC Championship game production was good. I think NBC would be my favorite.
I really do like Greg Olson though. They did the game a couple of years ago
Yeah,
with him and
right.
who was it on play-by-play? Was
Uh,
it Burkhardt?
It had to be Burkhardt. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it went straight from Buck to Burkhardt.
Yeah.
As the number one guy. Yeah, I'm excited. And we get a new score bug for all of you nerds out there, broadcast nerds. We get a new score bug for NBC.
I geek out about that stuff.
It is fun. It's a little fun thing to look forward to at the Super Bowl is that you get a new score bug that then stays for the next 4 years until they get the next Super Bowl. So excited for the game on Sunday. We went through our Monday headlines. Most of them did not have anything to do with the game being played on the field. Speaking of which, got to get the Gatorade color guesses. Where are we going?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be blue, right?
I'm going to go blue too. I was looking at the somebody posted like the previous ones, and I think the Patriots, the last two times they won it was blue, and the Seahawks, it might have been orange when they won it against the Broncos.
Maybe it'll be green if the Seahawks win.
green would be, I think that's probably down the board a little bit. Purple is the wild card here.
That is true.
Parker, do you have any thoughts on Gatorade color?
I'm going blue as
You're
well.
going blue. All
I
right,
just
we're
feel
all
blue.
on blue. We're gonna stay united as a show here. Blue for the Gatorade color. The Super Bowl is always fun. I mean, I'm gonna use the Michael Scott of like, I love inside jokes. I'd love to be a part of one someday. It's like the Super Bowl has become kind of just a holiday thing, right? Like for a while, I think when you're a kid, it's like you grow up and you're like, next year's the year the Titans are going to be in here.
Yeah.
And it's like you're looking forward to it, and you're like, eventually the Titans are going to get here. I hope eventually they get back there. I mean, you would think at some point it'll happen, but I've stopped thinking of the Super Bowl that way.
I mean, I was still relatively a kid a couple of years
right
ago.
when they almost got there a couple times.
I was in high school, so I mean, I was still, coming into adulthood, but there is still that childhood wonder of, maybe next time.
This is a quick tangent as we wrap up the show here, but like, I am disappointed, and I'm sure a lot of Titans fans out there who are in our age range, disappointed didn't get to see a Super Bowl as a kid, because I
Yeah.
feel like it's different when you're a kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I hope to be a part
Oh,
of
it
it
is.
someday.
No, I
Um,
have vivid memories of, which is why I'm worried I peaked as a child in my sports. I have vivid memories of Kentucky winning the national championship in 2012, and then the Cardinals winning the World Series
Right.
in 11. I remember that because I was 8, so I remember sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor watching those.
I
and
feel
being
like
really
those-
excited.
it's like core memories when you're a kid is if you're, again, I don't know because none of my teams win. But I would love to have had one as a kid. I guess we'll look forward to it. Maybe my kids will be able to, you know what? I'm going to tell them to not be Titans fans.
But then you can be scared like me that you've peaked.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll never see it again.
Or you could just be Boston fans who they get a new championship every other year.
Whatever.
I cannot believe they're back in the Super Bowl.
I know. It's what, and their hockey team is all right. They just came off an NBA championship a couple of years ago.
Since the Patriots' first Super Bowl, that's 2001. How many championships has Boston won? They got 6 Super Bowls.
They've got a Stanley Cup.
They've got one Stanley Cup. Yeah, just one.
I think one.
They beat Vancouver.
Yeah.
3 World Series.
Yeah.
Right. 04.
13. 18?
Did they win? Yes. Yeah. So 3 World Series. That's 10. And then the Celtics won
08.
08 and
23.
Yeah. So 2. So what? 12 championships for that city in the last 25 years.
You're
Crazy.
spoiled.
Literally every other year. I know it doesn't work out like that, but like it is averaging a championship every other year. Crazy.
I hate them. I don't actually hate Boston.
No, I don't. I mean, good for them, right? Like we're just jealous over here. But
I mean, that's a traditional sports market. They've been around a long time.
I know, but think of all of the other cities that have 4 pro sports teams. Like look at Detroit.
Yeah.
Like, look at how horrible Detroit sports have been for the last 25 years. They've got.
It's emerging now, though.
Do they have one? The Red Wings won in the last 25 years?
Yeah. The Pistons.
Did the Pistons win in 04?
Yeah.
So maybe they got 2. The Tigers have gone twice and lost. The Lions have still never gone. What are some other sports towns? Like Arizona. Arizona's got 4, or they don't anymore. The Coyotes are gone.
Yeah.
But none of those teams win. Again, I'm putting the towns.
Well, I'm trying to think of like Florida markets. Like Miami.
Miami has won a decent amount, but like part of that is the Heat had the big 3 for a little bit there.
Yeah.
How about Dallas? The Cowboys don't win. The Mavericks have won once.
The Stars have never won.
Stars haven't won. The Rangers won again. So they but that's kind of what it is, right? Is that these markets look at Minnesota. They don't win at all. The markets with 4 sports teams, like you're looking in the last 25 years, they've got probably between 3 and 5 championships.
Yeah.
If that. 12 for Boston.
It's just unfair. That's why we kind of root against these big markets like Los Angeles and Boston and New York.
At least New York suffers.
New York is punished, especially this, like right now. I don't know what the Yankees are going to do, but the Giants sucked. The Jets sucked. The Mets missed the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, baseball is different because those teams will just reload every year, but like their basketball teams haven't been very good for a long time.
The Knicks are a punished franchise, even in college basketball.
Yeah.
St. John's.
Yep. It's
the Rangers suck.
At least we can look at that. Randy on the text line says, my first Super Bowl, I sat and watched Joe Namath beat the Bears. I was 11. 1342 says the Titans went to the Super Bowl when I was 8, and it was my first year watching the NFL. So I just always assumed you play a season and get to go to the Super Bowl. Oops. Yeah.
What's the first Super Bowl you remember?
Seahawks and Steelers.
That was
Super Bowl 40.
Okay. Mine was, I think, I remember halftime shows more than I remember actual games. Like I remember Madonna and I remember Prince.
Yeah.
I think the actual game I remember most was Broncos Seahawks.
Wow.
14?
13. Yeah.
13?
Yeah. 2013 season, 2014 Super Bowl. Yeah.
That was just a beatdown.
Yeah, I can't believe how much younger you are than me sometimes. Because
I was 9.
The Hasselbeck and the first Roethlisberger one. That was the first Super Bowl I remember. Super Bowl
20
40.
years ago.
Yep, crazy
20
stuff.
years ago. I was 1.
Yeah, I said this last week too, that within 2 months of me being born, Virginia Tech played in a national championship and the Titans played in a Super Bowl.
You peaked.
Neither has happened since. I peaked at about 45 days old.
You've hit your ceiling.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Thanks to everyone who chimed in today. That'll just about wrap things up for us. Monday, we will be back. We will recap everything that happens in Super Bowl 60 between the Seahawks and the Patriots. Connor, always a pleasure having you in.
Always a pleasure being here.
that'll do it for us. Again, we'll be back on Monday. Super Bowl 60 is coming up on Sunday from Santa Clara. Also, big game to get ready for on Monday. I mentioned it earlier. Vandy women's basketball, huge win last night, and they will host Oklahoma on Monday night. So we'll get ready for that as well. Don't go anywhere. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next here on 102.5 The Game.